All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Hajime no Ippo, Season 3, Episode 15.
Umezawa has moved on to pursue his manga writing dream.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're really proud of him.
We're really proud of him, and just a mite bit miffed at Takamura and the others for...
I've moved on. I think the big thing is just that I'm going to miss him. Like, he is a really good boy.
And I hope he'll still be in the story, even if it's, only every once in a while.
If you think, like, Volg, for instance, is just not going to be in the story.
Right, America, It's like, nah.
You're crazy.
Nah.
If anything, it's just really exciting to have our characters that are not our main character have storylines that have them evolve and change and grow and move on beyond
different directions.
Bigger and better things.
Exactly.
And while Umezawa going to do his manga is a bigger and better thing, we're going to have to see how things adjust in Ippo's home life a bit.
Itagakimasu.
Given that while, he is, still recovering and stuff, Itagaki being involved there could deepen their bond a little bit,
Yes, possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Or
who knows?
Just absolutely tired of all the puns that
he's already tired of the puns. But I am holding out hope that maybe, just maybe, while Ippo is recovering, he might actually spend some time with Kumi. Crazy to think about, I know, but it could happen. It could happen.
I think that's very, very hopeful. And I hope with you though. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. All right, so we got ourselves a bit of a lighter episode with regards to discussion potential.
Yep.
We've got Miyata being a little bit more focused on, which is exciting because
always appreciated.
He has his rivalry with Ippo. He's going to be fighting in an OPBF match, which is exciting because then we'll get a match that's kind of an outsider's perspective looking in. Yeah. Unfortunately, because we have no knowledge about who he's fighting right now, it's one that Miyata's like easily going to win.
Right, because he does need to face Ippo eventually.
Yeah, and while anyone can lose these matches in general, because we're not in any kind of tournament specifically, where it's not like some single elimination thing, it does hurt Miyata's chances to face Ippo eventually if he starts losing big matches in the world stage. But
yeah, this is kind of the hype up stage for like gearing up to the eventual fight with Ippo.
Yeah, but I would say again, it's not really like anything that's happening anytime soon because this is stuff that is happening in a different division. Ippo still has to actually head towards
into the world stage. Yeah,
before he can even really
challenge him or anything like that.
Have a chance to look at fights like that.
Yeah,
and again, Ippo's style is so limited that they're really saying, hey, this is a breather, like, kind of section of the story. Ippo's not the main character for this bit here. We're going
to focus in recovery mode.
Yeah, we're going to focus on Takamura. He's got a match that is a WBC middleweight world title match.
Right, so the next weight class up from when he fought Hawk. Cool,
right.
Awesome.
Yes,
that's probably the guy in the OP.
Yeah, which means he'll be able to... not cut as hard as he did before.
Right. And it won't be the whole thing of the rescheduling or whatever the thing was happening with, that made it so he had to maintain that weight for a lot longer than normal.
Yeah,
so
most
that'll
likely.
Be helpful.
Yeah, if anything, I could see the big twist with this one being that the fight is overseas. However, the fact that they said that Aoki, Kimura, and Miyata all had fights on the same night and in the same stadium... It means it's probably in Japan.
Yeah.
So, okay, gotcha. We got 4 big fights then to look forward to. Primarily Takamura's, though.
Yes.
They mentioned Itagaki a little bit. He has, like, his second round of the rookie tournament.
Right.
But I don't think that's necessarily happening.
Yeah, that's a separate thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But, okay. We've got our side characters getting that focus here.
Yep.
And then Miyata... being the one that gets kind of the character focus along with Takamura this episode.
Right, and that makes sense because since the Ippo's fight with Ryuhei, Miyata's whole strategy of how he'll take down Ippo when they eventually fight is kind of out the window. right? So now he has to completely dig deep and reimagine himself and his style a bit if he wants to have a chance standing up against Ippo, assuming that Ippo's still doing the Dempsey role at that point.
Yeah, but he still hard counters Ippo and everything else. That was just a way that he could instantly win, because the Dempsey role is overtly limited. But remember the form style that they use for boxing and being an infighter versus an outboxer. One is directly the scissors to the rock to the scissors.
Yeah, there is a reason that Ippo's style is old school, not beyond just the Dempsey role. So it's that whole thing of, if Ippo can last long enough to get that point where Miyata makes a mistake, which it doesn't really tend to do, then get up close, then he can probably take him out. But if he doesn't do that, he's probably going to lose. But
yeah. And this episode kind of focusing a little bit on the fishing was a little bit of a bummer. I kind of wanted a little bit more character focused stuff. But the bit with Takamura and Miyata, where Takamura is doing this to build up Miyata because he's like, no, you're a shitty boxer.
And you're still my junior.
Yeah. I could feel the kind of awkward uncle kind of energy from Takamura, where he was like, no, I'm trying to help you, dude. I really respect you and I want to look out for you and stuff. And yes, you may not be as good as me, but you are more than enough for Ippo. I just really feel like you don't understand how much and how quickly Ippo can grow and evolve.
Yes,
so you better, at the very least, be tough enough to, be worthy of facing him.
Right.
Because that's one of the things that I keep noticing every time I see Miyata. Look at him and Ippo in your mind's eye, side by side.
Okay.
One of them is thick. The other one has some height on him. The
height and the range and things, but
Miyata needs Ippo to be coming in really hard on those punches. Otherwise, I don't know
in
how
order for his own counters to be powerful.
Right. I don't know how he could actually deliver a strong enough just jab that Ippo would really care.
Yeah, it's the thing where because I feel like it's one of those things where his punches don't do a lot of damage.
Right.
So even if he manages to hit a lot, he still has to go for a longer period of time without making a mistake.
Yes.
Right? Whereas with Ippo, it's the keep trying things or whatever. I have a big health bar.
Chase you down,
and eventually I'll get you. Eventually I'll roll high enough, and then fight's over. So
right, exactly. And Miyata have a bunch of little technical things that he might be able to pull there, and counters should work against Ippo, and then it ends up being a thing where Ippo just runs out of stamina faster than Miyata does.
Which, good luck.
Well, right, but that's kind of how he has to play it. So if Takamura is basically saying, no, work on your legs, he's saying, yeah, you're going to have a problem in the stamina department or the power department.
Or both. Which would be real bad. And I do love that they're focusing on this, because whenever we got the Takamura backstory bits and we got to see young Miyata and Takamura, that was a dynamic that I always wanted to see more of,
Same,
right? Because once Ippo came into the story, right, even though Miyata and Takamura had already been together for a while, Miyata kind of ended up moving away to figure out his own style of boxing. We didn't really get that, right? Because then the Ippo-Miyata rivalry was the focus. Right. So the idea that we get to see Takamura actually looking out for him here in his own Baka kind of way.
Yes, very true.
Granted, but still, Takamura doesn't do that really.
He really doesn't.
Just about anybody.
He really doesn't that much, no.
No. Even for Ippo. Now, Ippo hasn't necessarily needed it, because Kamagawa's, there to whip him into shape. But he doesn't really do that kind of stuff. The fact that he was like, hey, we're going to spar together. Yeah, Takamura's probably getting something from that of, Miyata does have a lot of technical skill.
But really, it's
but not that
mostly
much.
for Miyata here.
Yeah, he is going into teacher mode. And he doesn't do that often.
Yeah, if anything, I could see there being a thing where Takamura is just focused on cutting down to the weight and stuff like that. So he's just doing a bunch of cardio. And it's not really something where he needs to yet kind of focus on that kind of stuff for boxing. So he's doing the stuff on the back end, the boring stuff, the nutrition, the cardio, and not as much technical training. And then Miyata is one where he's like, oh, if I could
build the physical.
Yeah, if I could improve anything about this guy, he just needs to get more energy, just
more power behind those
output.
fists. Yeah.
Yeah, he needs his numbers to be higher. So
Right, because the way he uses it
stick
is
around with me.
fantastic. And I also love the thing that when Miyata was talking to his dad, and he's like, "How is he faster than me?" He's like, "He's not.
Oh,
you're
yeah.
you're like 3 times faster than he is. You know, you've got him beat for speed,
Yeah.
but he really knows how to use the space."
Yeah.
So and that's something
yeah.
that's something I hadn't really thought about before, but it makes total sense, especially if you're talking about someone that's physically a lot bigger, so they take up more of the space.
Sure.
But 2, when you get to that world stage, right? Because it wouldn't just be how do I deal with like the person on a one-on-one basis, but how do I strategically maneuver them into a place where you can't move around much now, and then I beat the shit out of you, you know?
Right. Especially if when he's strafing, Takamura, he ends up kind of moving in a consistent clockwise or counterclockwise position. Eventually, Takamura just kind of slides him a little bit too close to the ring and then cuts off his angle, and then he has to full stop his momentum, which means he's stopped, and then you can deliver some punches.
Yeah, the fact that Takamura was able to get him into the corner that easily when Miyata is the one that's more maneuverable, that says something about Takamura's, like, not just his like physical capabilities, but his mental know-how.
Yeah. I think that Takamura shows over and over again that he's not just the dumb brute. He has a lot of technical know-how with regards to boxing. And characters who are smaller, weaker, maybe faster, but I would say a little bit fresh in their experience that they have with regards to boxing, Takamura can give them a lot to learn.
Yes. And wasn't that wonderful how Takamura was showing him like to keep your arm in? And it was basically just the same thing that Kamigawa forced him to do by tying his arm down. Like,
that was sweet. That was sweet.
I was just like, okay, all right.
Yeah, I think
see that.
That was specifically though his right arm. Takamura was forced to use only his left. Basically.
Yeah, so it's a different arm, but it's the same kind of principle of keeping the arm in, and that gives you more power, I guess, for the other arm. But
the power thing was a really cool example of how the physical body just works, because in a lot of ways I just don't know like a lot of that kind of stuff. The visual diagram that they put up made it make a lot of sense. But, like, I have no idea before this that the reason why you tuck in your arms like that had anything to do with muscle strength. I thought it had to do with the fact that it was more efficient for defense.
Right, yeah.
And yet, no, the defense thing is sure there, but it's not at all the primary reason. It's the idea of keeping your body tight like that allows for more efficiency, less unnecessary movement. And also the idea of, they said the chest muscles would stretch if you had your arm lifted up when the other one was punching.
Yeah, if it was out.
If you kept it in and had it compact and contracted, then you can utilize that side of your chest muscles as well.
To help support it, I guess.
Yeah, which is just really cool. And to drive rotation, like at the very least, a lot of the things that I do understand about boxing is the utilization of the whole body being activated in that rotation. Because whenever you punch, you are driving your torso one of the directions.
I do believe that's more of the core than the actual torso.
Yes, but if you want to get range and you want to do more than just a jab, you are rotating your entire upper body somewhat.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's a thing that goes down into every sport that involves throwing, like every sport, like javelin, baseball, that kind of stuff. And a punch is essentially a more directed form of a throw. You have everything in there, and you bring that up, so that utilization isn't some dramatic full tilt thing, but it is something that we've seen Ippo when he does his.
Yeah, and it goes through like the whole showing all the muscles engaging and all that stuff.
Right. And then maybe if anything, what we've learned because of this show is that boxing uses way more of the legs than you'd think.
Right.
That's the one that's kind of been a fun surprise to learn as well.
And that is always that sort of like the reminder to anyone that's wanting to be in shape and stuff of don't forget legs.
Yeah, work out everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Okay, I don't really have too much more to say for this.
Same.
I'm curious
Yeah.
to see if they actually show the fishing competition next episode, or if it's just like
could be a cold
the
open.
aftermath.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like a 45, 60 second cold open, then they hit
Yep.
the OP, and then they go into this stuff there. But the next episode's called Golden Eagle.
Right, which I'm very excited about because
The
that means
OP.
we're probably going to the guy that we saw in the OP.
Yeah.
So
And we need to build up this guy in order to, well, be really excited for the match beyond not just the fact that Takamura might be getting another world title.
this does make me kind of
But,
curious, though. If he ends up getting this other world title
Right.
soon, there's only 4 more weight classes after that.
Okay.
Given how far the
Okay.
manga is, right, of like 1,200 chapters or something like that.
Uh-huh.
What happens when you get to the point where Takamura is the heavyweight champion? Or the super heavyweight champion or whatever. You know, whatever is the top weight class. What happens then? Like, he's reached the
Well-
top and had to stop? Like,
I don't think he'll get there anytime soon.
I wouldn't think so. But given the
Yeah.
fact that they're coming up on the second one, it's like,
Yeah, I think that's
I
because...
don't know, there'd only be 4 after that.
I think that's because this is one where it's a natural next step.
Okay.
But between that and heavyweight is a lot
Well,
of
yes,
boxers.
and-
I mean, a lot.
But there is also, and this is a good point to bring up, is that this is during a time when they're doing a time skip of sorts because Ippo is needing to recover. So it makes sense that we'd get to Takamura's next world title match faster. Like
Yes.
faster within the episode count.
Right.
And that doesn't necessarily have to happen for the future ones because Ippo might not be injured and recovering.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. But okay, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
Yes, the info's in the description down below.
Yes, if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb,
I'm Jacob.
and we'll see you all
Next time.